Hey everybody, I'm Den Haring. Welcome back to my channel, Fish Den 365, and welcome back to Top Water Tuesday. It's become my favorite day of the week because I get to talk about a different topwater each and every Tuesday. And you know, this time around, I just happened to be looking around in my tackle house last night, my boathouse. It's got all my tackle, and I came across this little guy. So this is the Rebel Buzzin' Frog, and this bait's been around for a long time. I mean, I've had this bait for a long time. I gotta be honest, I don't remember ever fishing it. I might have tested it a time or two, but I've never fished it. It has these legs that catch water and spin, and they do spin very well and very easily. It's got a frog head. This one's called, the color is called Swamp Frog. Good color. It's got that whitish yellow pattern to it. The hook is a unique hook. It's not a treble, it's only got two. There is no split ring back here, and that's for a reason, because they want this to stay with the hooks up like this so they can come through some cover. So apparently you can fish this through some wood and some cover without getting hooked up very easily. Now, I was surprised to find that this bait is still available out there right now. This thing, you can get it at Tackle Warehouse. You can probably get it at some other places too, but Tackle Warehouse still has these. I noticed they have like 9 left of this color, 8 left of that, so I don't know if they're bringing any more in after this, after these finally sell out. But I was surprised to see that, because I think I got this bait back, I don't know, it had to be in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s perhaps. And it's funny, you know, I wondered how it worked. I looked at this yesterday evening. It was not quite dark. It was probably around 7 o'clock, and I had to know if it worked or not. So I quickly ran up to the pond. I didn't have the camera. I didn't have time to take it, but I did want to see how it worked so I can report to you what I thought of the bait. And surprisingly, it worked better than I thought it would. You can retrieve it very, very slow and still get the action out of this. The buzzing sound that it makes is subtle. It doesn't make a lot of noise, but it does make a pretty good commotion in the water. It's not a very big bait, you know, it might only be 2.5 inches, 3 inches max. Not big at all, but it does make a commotion. It's fairly easy to cast. I didn't have any problems casting it. You can fish it faster and make a little more commotion, but if you go too fast, this thing starts spinning out on the front end a little bit, so you can't go real fast with it. But you can do a good moderate speed and a slow speed, and you can do stop and go. Perhaps that looked the best when I was doing that, moving it along slowly and stopping, or moderately and stopping. That seemed to look pretty good in the water as well. So I'm sure it would catch fish. Now, I was curious what other people thought about it, so I got on that Tackle Warehouse website and I read some reviews, and I got a mixed reviews. Some guys said that the bait doesn't work properly, it doesn't sit in the water right. For me, it sat just like this angle. It was a real good angle when it sat still, and it worked for me. But this person was saying, I think that the head was turning or flipping around. That didn't happen unless I went to a real high speed when I fished mine. Somebody else had a complaint about, trying to remember what it was, that the bait wasn't balanced right, it didn't sit right on the water, or it sat upside down. Mine never sat upside down, and the reason for that is there's a weight right here, and as soon as it would land on the water, it would go right side up. Now this might flip, but who cares, that's going to be spinning anyway, so no problem there. So, and then there were a few other people that really liked the bait and said it comes through cover well and that they count on it to catch some big fish. So it was a mixed review. And so, not fishing this bait myself, that leads me to ask you, my viewers, a question. Are you familiar, number one, with the Rebel Buzzin' Frog? Have you ever used it? What's your experience with it? Have you caught fish with it? Is it any good? Should I keep it around, or should I sell it off sometime at a tackle swap? Don't really know what to do with it, but I do think this summer, if I have a little extra time, when I'm up in one of the Pocono lakes and I'm fishing topwater, I think I might just throw this around a little bit just to see if I can catch one on it. Now, obviously, you can change this hook if you want to. I don't know that I'd keep this hook on it the way it is, but I might. It's sharp. It's sharp enough. I didn't sharpen it last night, and it's stuck in my fingernail pretty well, so it's got some sharpness to it right out of the package. I tied a snap onto my line and just put a snap on this front nose. The nose is interesting where you hook it on here, but or tie, you can tie directly, I'm sure too, but I used the snap. It worked fine that way. You know, I was using my typical topwater rod. I had 20-pound braid on, and I was throwing with 12-pound test monofilament line, trilene. I think it was Sensation. 12-pound test seemed to work pretty good. Curious about the frog here. Again, I was really surprised to see it was still in production. I don't know how many. I don't know if they sell these a lot or not, but it's still available out there. And I might have even seen these at Walmart over the years. I'm not sure, but this does spin very easily. Has a pretty good sound in the water. You can fish it slow, fish it moderately, stop and go. Don't see why it couldn't or wouldn't catch fish. And it's kind of a neat design, don't you think? Well, like I said, comment if you fished with this thing or if you have any experience with it, good or bad. We'd love to hear it. Not every topwater lure could be the greatest, so we have to cover, you know, Topwater Tuesday is about covering all the different possibilities out there and discovering together, you know, what are the best baits, what are good baits, what might be baits that work in certain circumstances but may not be better for other circumstances, all of that. So that is what we're talking about with this frog on this Topwater Tuesday. Hope you liked the video. If you did, take a minute, hit that like button. Let me know that that we're giving you good content here. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be putting some really good videos together shortly. We're going to be talking about the 5 baits of spring individually, which is going to be the jerk bait, the lipless crankbait, spinner bait, along with the swim jig, and the other one in there is the chatterbait. I don't think I missed any. So we'll be talking about those individually, and I'll probably also talk about a bait that works year in, year out, all the time, and that's the jig. Until next time, be safe out on the water out there. Hope to see you. And as always, may God bless your fishing endeavors.